Hello there, I'm Colonel Failure, and this is A-Train 9 version 3. So, our city has been developing really rather nicely. As you can see through the rain here, we've got a fairly magnificent city going on, and to be honest, that's what you should always hope to have. But I'm not satisfied with the train services that we've got running. The loop is working just fine. Mostly just fine. But it's got problems in terms of spacing and timing and all of this kind of stuff, which is going to make it hard to run any more of a consistent service. Not to mention that, of course, if we want to run additional branches like we've got over here, that's going to completely interfere with the two-way traffic that currently exists in this system here. So if, for example, which is what I'm hoping to achieve shortly, we were to run a passenger service from our district up here, so number 9, and then run a point-to-point service either to this station here or out in this direction, we would bump into trains that were running the circuit, the loop. The loop, I think, is how we'll refer to it, and that's a problem. I mentioned in a previous episode that the A-Train is set up far better for point-to-point services than it is for kind of continuous loops, unless you're running that loop 24 hours a day, in which case you've got nothing to worry about. But not in a timing sense anyway. The only thing you have to worry about is the fact that you're not going to be making much money from that, because it doesn't matter how big your city is, it seems, during the night time nobody wants to use the train. And actually that's not the biggest shock you've ever heard in your life, I'm sure. But what we're going to do today is, well, we're going to try and get a passenger service working between this station here and this one, and that's going to require some track development. It's going to require some expensive track development. We're going to probably end up bulldozing some stuff here, and then timing as we operate a point-to-point service between these two stations. Now, obviously, as I expand this secondary kind of spur that we've got going on here, I think we were talking originally about having interlocking loops coming through this area, and that's going to be easier said than done. To be honest, I might be best off just removing the trains that are moving either clockwise or anti-clockwise in order to free up that route to let me use the track. Anyway, let's have a just before I get started, let's have a quick look at how we're generally performing. Energy's fine. What are we looking at? 71 million profit for the year so far. That's so-so. But in terms of actual cash profit, we're on 11-12 million. That number's going up, but the cost of both facilities, which obviously covers the running cost of buying trains as well. Although I don't think I bought one this year. But it's it's the factories and warehouse profits. They're doing me no favours at all, and railroad services are not coming anywhere close to offsetting that in terms of a charge. So maybe I've got a new thought here. Okay, yeah, I think I have. All right, let's slow the game right down. I don't want to stop it entirely. Okay, what does anyone know how you can change? Actually, let's have a look. I'll show you what my question was, because I'm going to try it out. Remove. Right. What I want you to be there. So I've got all of my goods trains in one section and all of my passenger trains in another section of this list. No, not happening. I shouldn't be surprised, really, should I? Okay, right. Let's take all passenger services off, which is, it's going to cost me a bit of money. Right, I'm going to try, before we expand onto this station here, which won't make us any money from passenger services initially, but it might help to fuel a little bit of growth in this area. In fact, it's almost certainly going to fuel a bit of growth in that area. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple of very straightforward point-to-point services on the existing loop. So we're going to place this one. Now everybody likes to drive on the right, so we'll operate from that. So this one we're going to operate just from, have I picked a train at random? No, I've picked the first one on the list. Right, so let's get him running, timetable assistant. So, converting the loop to point-to-point, that's what we're going to try first. Is it going to work? I have no idea. But I've got a relatively cunning scheme up my sleeve. Right, okay. So it's got to this end of its run, and then let's tell it to reverse. Obviously, this is completely undoing everything that I'd set up beforehand, but for those of you who have been watching for a while, will be more than aware that I have never got this working in the way that I wanted, and I've tried various different ways to do so. Right, it's going to arrive. We want a getting on and off, obviously. 7:30 till 11. See, that leads to a potential where we have trains that are backed up waiting for platform space, and that's not going to help either. There has to be a better way to do it. There has to be, I mean, individual departure times isn't bad, but all right, okay, let's just, what time of day are we at? We're on a Friday, obviously, so we've got 2 days of nothing happening coming up. All right, let's just let that run. Let's get it past the weekend so that I can at least see it in motion. Right, then when we get to this end, we go back in the other direction. That's the plan. I mean, it's already got kind of operating times set in place, but what we're more interested in now is making it so it doesn't collide. Because obviously, I'm not just going to run this one train. I'll run another one that starts off at this one and goes to the next one up. But they are the differences in distance between each station is such that that's not going to work. Maybe the way to go is to do 2 departure times. Maybe we do individual departures. So maybe we do a 7 a.m. No, 7:30. Let's go 7:30. Set as a departure time. And then let's do because the most I recall them being apart is like 6 hours, something like that. So if we were to then do 7 is 14, yeah, I could do a 14:30. Means we miss the kind of prime time. And also, this is going to be a complete headache for other trains. All right. Well, I'm going to try it out. And then we'll do a 9:30. Okay. So we missed peak rush hour. I already don't like this. And of course, it doesn't do anything to help the other end either. It means that basically there's going to be 3 departures a day, so it's going to end up in the wrong station. Oh, this is frustrating. Decidedly so. Right, we've hit the weekend. Let's just fly through the weekend. I won't go to max speed, so I don't strobe you folks out. There we go. So it's going to depart at 7:30, pretty much as expected. Whoa, hold on. You know what I didn't do? Yes. Right, back the other way, you fool. Right, so here we go. That one is, well, we've got it on go straight at the moment. And obviously, what I should have done is told it to turn around. Okay, so let's... Yeah, this isn't going to work either. And this is a real pain in the backside. Okay, let's stick with departure times. Let's stick with 1 hour stops. Yeah, let's leave it exactly as it was before. And then we'll just have it shuttling back and forward. Because the worst we should get is, unless you get two trains kind of head-to-head in the station with neither one of them actually there. Alright, so that's now running. So if we pause that, right, actually we can leave it going. And then we move up to, actually I want to call up the, I was pretty sure you could, just by clicking you could get the status of the train. I want the little window to say how many people you've got on you. Go on, make that easy for me. There we go. Alright, cool. So, rather than do the one that goes across the bridge, I'll come in the opposite direction because those two stations are closer together. So we'll see how that pans out. Okay, so let's place the next one. And actually, that whole notion of everybody drives on the right is meaningless. You're on the far outside lane. Keep this under control. Right, place you on there. Far outside lane. Yes, it becomes the far inside lane. You're right. It's all good. Right, get the timetable system up. Hope that I did actually clock that properly. Right, okay, so 7:30 to 8:30, 1 hour stop. Turn it around. And the same here. Okay, nothing complex about that at all. It's just every service runs a point-to-point between two stations. And it also means, because we're double-tracked there, that we can effectively run it twice, should we choose to. No, you're all good. We're ready for you to live up to your potential. So this is where we're watching. We're watching to see how often these two trains actually kind of collide with each other. Equally, we want to keep an eye on their kind of profitability. So we're doing quite nicely at the moment. I mean, look at Train 5. You know, it's made £7 today without moving a muscle. That was just from it arriving in the previous day. So they're both going to take off at the same time from their opposing stations. Ha, yes. And there will be a meeting of the minds here. Oh no, the spacing is such that we might just be able to clear. That's not so bad. That's not so bad. Okay, so, you know, they're going to run throughout the day. What are you carrying there? 1491. 1491's okay. They're obviously, you know, we've spoken about the capacity of these guys before, and it's 1512, which is great because the train itself is rated at like 900 and some odd that it can actually carry. But in this case, you know what? I think I might be happy with this. I mean, that wasn't insanely profitable, but it wasn't bad. So, we want to, next, we want to run a guy in this station. And the fact that trains have to wait for each other should mean that they space themselves out over time. At least, that's my, you know, my very sincere hope. So, let's get you running. Try the timetable system up. And providing we've got one space on the network, in fact even that might not be necessary. Right, turn it around. Keep with the existing service. So essentially we're turning this loop into a whole series of point-to-point station loops. Right, okay, there you go. That's you scheduled. So let's have a look and see how he gets on. So yeah, let's keep an eye on this station and see if that pans out. Oh, and of course it's Friday morning. Oh well, no, it's only Friday morning. We've got time still to run here. But it means that each individual service should be profitable in and of itself. And that really is a primary objective. Okay, I am sold on this as a solution. And it also means that if I've got excess capacity in terms of, not excess capacity, excess demand, in terms of the number of people wanting to travel, I can run them on the second line. And this is the worst case scenario that you're going to get. Actually, it's the second worst case scenario you're going to get. The worst is where you're going to end up with two trains locked, entering the same station, at the same time over a weekend, or overnight, and then over a weekend. So what are we making here? None of these are... I mean, they're all taking home the bacon over there. This is okay. This is okay. It would be nice to get reports of individual profitability on different trains. But, you know, I'm not... Actually, you know what I might do? I might put a station in there. But I don't think I've got the money for it. Where are we? We're October. Yeah, I think the smarter thing to do would be to wait for the next kind of calendar year and then put a passenger station in here to help fuel the growth of this area. But I think that's viable. So now, if we go back and look at the spur where we started, and this actually is where Train Fever becomes slightly different to an awful lot of games that I've played, and maybe it's just the way that I'm playing it, is that you spend a hell of a lot of time trying to get the services to run properly, way more so than in other games. In other games, it's all you bash the thing down and there you go, it's off and running. In this, I seem to be spending a disproportionate amount of time scrutinising timetables. Right, okay, so how am I going to run this? Now, we could run across the bridge up there, but this is going to be a passenger station at some point. So this was our second kind of goods terminal when we set up, but I think it's going to need to be a passenger terminal, and that's a hefty investment to make. All right, what I'll do is we'll do that next time. Yeah, I'm going to have to play the stock market a little to make the money to pull this together. I won't make you sit through that again. You know, it always makes me feel dirty. I don't know if it does the same for you, but, you know, together we will muscle through this. Convert this into a nice passenger service station, at which point we can run shuttles both along here, so up to the next area. Signposts. This area really needs signposts. And also out on this branch line as well. So again, an episode entirely driven by scheduling, and hopefully, you know, this, you know, maintains some interest with you. Once I've nailed this as a fundamental, I think we should be able to see much more building going on than we have done lately. So thanks for watching today. I've been Colonel Failure. Please do leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll catch you with some more A-Train in the near future. Cheerio!